I'm about to prove that an unhinged Plastic Man that once you gone will utterly steamroll through 97% of the X-Men, including the Omegas like Jean Grey and Magneto. Oh, if you think this is far-fetched, just remember that in the presence of a cracked-out Superman who is ending kids like Anakin Skywalker out here, and in the presence of Sinestro, Cyborg, and Hawkgirl, Wonder Woman was still on edge and told him, keep Plastic Man in your freaking sight. Keep him targeted and do not hold back if he tries to do anything. He is more capable and more dangerous than you can possibly comprehend. These dudes encountered Darkseid before, and she's talking about you can't comprehend how dangerous he is? I can't blame her if she feels that way after reading the Deceased comic, where dude expanded into the size of the freaking ocean and came out on business and ripped apart everyone with stretching spike tentacle, like how Hela came out the freaking water when she was going against Surtur. And I mean, look at this. This is a horror movie. What's going on here? That's why this brother walked into Superman crib with his shoes on the fresh carpet, just vacuumed, and stared this brother down. He was like, yo, where's my dinner at? This is my house, fam. And you know, if Batman says this about you, you're a freaking problem. But talk is cheap, right? Let the slaughter begin with the OG X-Men, Wolverine. We all know that Wolverine has thrown down with the big dog, Omega Red, Sabretooth, Hulk. He was even called to take out Thanos because people know he's about that life. With that being said, he gets completely waffle stomped by Plastic Man in 2 seconds. And yes, I know what waffle stomp means. And if you're doing it, you're nasty. We have already seen countless times that Wolverine can't pierce Mr. Fantastic. Dude was trying to attack him, and Mr. Fantastic is talking about his taxes or how OP he is in Marvel Rivals right now. And Plastic Man is way more elastic than Mr. Fantastic. Does this look like claws can pierce it? What the frick is even going on here anyway? Wolverine can go into berserker mode. Claws, no claws. Plastic Man will simply enter into his nose like he did Flash and block his windpipe. We know that Wolverine needs to breathe because Invisible Woman put a freaking force field in his lungs and had this brother like, hey. So Plastic Man is wrapping around the Short King like a Chipotle burrito and waiting until he passes out. Next we got Cyclops, the leader of the freaking X-Men, who people started respecting after X-Men 97, but the true fans knew this brother was doing his thing way before that. Cyclops is gonna come out blasted. We know that on some straight Marvel vs. Capcom level. I know his optic blast is nothing to sleep on. This dude consistently one-shot entire Sentinel. And his instinctive trigonometry means he ain't missing. He's gonna bounce the freaking optic blast off 12 different areas and hit you somehow. But unfortunately for Cyclops, his optic beams does nothing to Plastic Man. First off, it's a concussive blast, not heat. So when you see Wolverine's face looking like it went through a meat grinder, it's basically because he's getting punched so hard, so fast, and so constantly that the meat is literally just falling off his bone, which is absolutely terrifying if you're not Plastic Man because he's immune to all physical damage. He has had his head smashed and splattered like a freaking omelet and just grew it back. He has been splattered against a wall and just simply reformed. Steel threw his hammer at him and he just made a joke about it. Somebody let off the chopper on him and he's just joking about it because fam is hood-proof. Plastic Man will turn into a giant balloon head, grab Cyclops and devour him, and there is nothing that Cyclops can do about it. And then here comes the Beast with his glasses and formula and does what? Calculates and makes estimations on how he's about to catch the 1-2 in a dry biscuit special by Plastic Man? Plastic Man will wrap him up so fast and crush him instantly. The most that Beast can do against Plastic Man is get him a hairball. But let's bring up somebody who may not be able to be so easily crushed. Let's bring up Colossus. Now, this is an interesting encounter due to Colossus' incredible strength and high level of durability. I mean, look at this brother's chest. Every day is chest day, Colossus. You gotta work on your legs too. Okay, so you work out on your legs. Yeah, those shoulders, bro, need a little... Okay, so you hit shoulder day too. Let's just move forward. He's bulletproof, cut-proof, well, almost, and practically dry biscuit proof. He has thrown down with the best of them, the Juggernaut, and even World War Hulk. Although he got folded, Like literally, the dude got folded like a Pepsi can. But if you're thrown down with them, you're a heavy hitter nonetheless. In metal form, he does not need to breathe, nor does he need to eat. So suffocation is out the question. And I'm pretty sure that Plastic Man won't be able to breach through his skin and attack his vital organs. But what a lot of people don't know is just how strong Plastic Man is. He was actually able to hold the alternate dark side in place when he wrapped around him. And strong enough to hold back Furnace, who is Martian Manhunter unhinged and the size of a freaking building. We are literally talking about Superman level strength or more in this moment. What this fight comes down to is that Colossus can't do anything to Plastic Man because he's impervious to all physical damage. I think I used that word right. Plastic Man, on the other end, can make his body 10 times harder than steel and is strong enough to continually chip away at Colossus until he eventually cracks and becomes overwhelmed. And speaking of overwhelmed, let's talk about a character that used to always get overwhelmed in the 90s TV show. Yo, she will faint every time she uses her powers. But Jean Grey ain't no joke. She's an Omega level telekinetic and telepath who has done some OP crap. With all of that said, let's immediately cut her powers in half. Because all that fancy telepathy crap does nothing to Plastic Man. That's right. Plastic Man brain and mind are inorganic, and trying to take over his mind is the equivalent of trying to take over the mind of a cold hot pocket. It's useless. Nothing happens. So she's only left with her telekinesis. But then that's also a problem because telekinetics have a hard time locking onto Plastic Man because of his genetic structure. They can grab him, but he will just rip apart and reform his actual tissue. It's the equivalent of us trying to pick up slime and get a grip of it. Just let me know, how do you pick this up? We have seen Jean hold some impressive items with her powers, but it does bring strain to her. This is why when Sentinels attack, she doesn't just pick up and crush them all the time. That takes a lot of energy. So to override her telekinesis, Plastic Man will transform into the size of a freaking kaiju and push forward until she gets a bloody nose and faints. Just look at this picture here. What is she gonna do? You guys aren't even realizing this is one of the most terrifying pictures that you can see. He has sharks and dinosaurs for fingers. He has a dinosaur holding a bat. He has a saw and a freaking meat grinder coming out of him. And it's functional. It's actually grinding up people. And look at the meat grinder over here. It breaks off and turns into a mouth with sharp teeth and eats this guy. Remember, he can make his skin 10 times harder than steel. So the teeth right here is actually stronger than steel. She can duck and weave and try to throw things at him. It's just a matter of time before he gets her. If this picture doesn't display just how cooked everyone is, I don't know what else will. He is hitting Furnace with hammers, sharks, octopuses, blades, boxing gloves, while being the size of freaking Godzilla. And the X-Men is doing what to him? Who's next? Jubilee? Ain't no way a girl who powers is based after the 4th of July is gonna do jack to Plastic Man. He's gonna turn into a freaking bowling ball and run her over. What about Rogue? Oh, my boo thing. I will always say this, 90 Rogue was peak. Ain't no other female that was on 90 Rogue level. With that being said, she can't do a single thing to him. Sure, she has amazing strength, but he could become stronger. I mean, don't get me wrong, she has flight and the fighting spirit. I'm not even sure she can replicate his powers, or would she, with his mind being inorganic. Somebody in the comments, let me know if you think that she can actually take his powers. All I know is that my girl will give it her all, and this dude would just transform into a freaking giant squid and slam her like Hulk did Loki. Or squeeze her like Cassius making fresh orange juice out here. Or enter into her body by her eye sockets. He can just do whatever he wants, basically. Professor X stands no chance at all. This dude is gonna turn into a freaking slingshot and fling Baldy to Arby's or something. This dude, Professor X, just got shot by a regular dude when he was able to block out his powers. Imagine what Plastic Man could do to him. Get out of here. But it's time to talk about the elephant in the room. The queen herself, Storm. This is Plastic Man's perfect storm. She can fly, she has wings that are powerful enough to push back freaking Sentinels and scoop up the Hulk like Breyer's ice cream. She can spam lightning attack from the freaking sky like somebody who doesn't know how to play a game and is just button mashing. Now for the most part, those attacks are going to be completely useless to Plastic Man, as he's just going to keep tanking it and rehealing. The issue is that Storm is able to flash freeze. And not just small areas, but like entire freaking cities. And this is one of Plastic Man's only and biggest weaknesses. And it's not just the cold. It's specifically flash freezing, meaning instant 100 to 0. With her being able to keep her distance, with her being able to push him back with the wind, and then flash freeze an entire area, Plastic Man just cannot win. Although Storm does not actually have a permanent way of destroying Plastic Man, because remember, he survived 3,000 years at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean as literal crumbs, stated by Batman. But just as a defeat, yeah, there's nothing that Plastic Man can do. This beautiful queen got this one, but if anybody in the comments can tell me a way that Plastic Man can defeat her so I can go against anybody, yo, I'll get back at you. And while we're here, yes, Iceman wins too. Oh, what a surprise. This dude is freezing freaking sections of hell, flash freezing huge bodies of water, becoming a literal giant, flash freezing celestial ship. His ice is strong enough to stop an entire freaking aircraft from crashing into the team. Like, come on, dude freaking froze all of New York. The Statue of Liberty's out here like, hey, yo! Even if Plastic Man got as tall as a freaking building in most atmospheres outside of hell or a bottle of hot sauce, Bobby will just do the same thing and freeze him. But I'm gonna tell you this right now. Everybody else is cooked. Gambit, Psylocke, Archangel, they can all come out at the same time. None of these dudes are doing a freaking thing to Plastic Man. Plastic Man's gonna grow multiple arms like freaking Goro and beat them however he likes. He could swallow them and suffocate him like he did this brother. Or if he wants to get vicious, he can literally just put his hand inside your chest and take out your heart. And they can't do a freaking single thing about it. Who's next? Banshee? Does anybody even like this guy? He'll pop up for his 15 minutes of fame just to realize that high noises and frequencies doesn't do jack to Plastic Man. Plastic Man's gonna extend his leg and kick him in the freaking chest. Or eat him. Who's next? Hey, what up, Bishop? You coming out here with your guns and crap? Feeling confident? Just to find out that this brother Plastic Man can turn into freaking Rambo himself and use multiple guns out of his arm? Real functioning gun. But what the heck? Maybe he'll just turn into a car and run him over. It doesn't matter. He can't do anything about it. Then Magneto shows up. The Omega. Oh no, another Omega level. This one is actually kind of interesting because people always talk about him controlling the iron in people's blood. Unfortunately, Plastic Man doesn't have iron in his blood. So now we run into a scenario of what is Magneto gonna do against Plastic Man? Throw cards at him? Hit him with a necklace? What if Plastic Man just decides to turn into a freaking god of war, freaking serpent? Or maybe Optimus Prime or Iron Man just to blitz him? I do believe that Magneto's shield will be hard to break through until I looked at this panel and realized this dude can get the size of a giant building with the strength level of a class 100 plus ton as he's riding Furnace like a freaking pony. The dude who was solo in the entire Justice League, Superman included. All he will need is a slight crack in his armor and he'll be able to sneak in his ear or his entire body. That's all it will take. We've seen Magneto get overwhelmed before. This fight basically becomes the waiting game for Plastic Man. Magneto does not have enough tools to put Plastic Man down, and Plastic Man will just be waiting for an opportunity for that shield to break, and then he's going hamburger on him. He's gonna blitz Magneto with an endless array of attacks. Now let me calm down a bit because Kitty Pryde is one of my favorite X-Men. She's straight gangster. Some of the stuff that this sister has done has shown me she is one of the most dangerous mutants to live. Unfortunately, my girl can't do a single thing to Plastic Man either. What, you think she's gonna grab him like she did the Juggernaut here? It's probably the equivalent of you trying to grip toothpaste. It just won't work. In order for her to survive this fight, just stay phased. Because anytime she becomes unfazed, Plastic Man's just gonna demolish her. Now let's talk about Darwin. First of all, the movie did him dirty. Ain't no way he was supposed to go out like this. Dude made him swallow a hot Orby and exploded him. His power is just freaking survive. Anyway, as anybody who knows Darwin, they know how this fight ends. It's in a draw. They honestly will both become gooey, and that's it. Nobody loses, nobody wins. I personally like NightCrawler, so unfortunately, as he's freaking teleporting around, Plastic Man's just gonna make a huge fly swatter and crack him. NightCrawler has nothing in his kit that will make Plastic Man even remotely nervous. Now, I know that there are more X-Men, because there's literally like freaking 4,000 of them. They make up half of Marvel. But if you want, list some heroes and villains in X-Men that you think could take out Plastic Man, and I'll meet you in the comments and show you that they can't do it. He will ragdoll them. Peace!